is right here on Black Power Media once again as we wake you up with that boom bap breakfast. This is no other than the Remix Morning Show. Now, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Let me introduce you to our host with the most straight from the East Coast. We got no other than Dr. Jared Ball. And burn it down, Kim Brown. Yo.
Keep rising to the top.
Oh, my mind say,
Come on.
ain't no half stepping.
Rising to the top.
Yes.
Wow.
What's
Shout
up,
out to
good
Dougie
people?
Fresh. Big up to Dougie Fresh. Big up to Dougie Fresh out here. A whole legend, a whole king. Dougie Fresh still out here looking good. Dougie Fresh still out here performing. Dougie Fresh still out here fly as hell. Big up to Dougie Fresh.
Absolutely. And another go-go legend and favorite. Came through many times. There's many a tape out there with him. Never mind what he did actually on track, on wax with Rare Essence.
Yes. Dougie Fresh has performed at a couple of these Chuck Brown days.
Yes.
And has destroyed it. He has destroyed it. I mean, woo! Real hip hop.
He's the definition of an MC for real. Like he don't need no sound, no nothing. He don't even need a microphone. He could get the crowd going. That's an MC.
Hey, you ain't. It's no need to curse. Ask me who she is and let me tell you first. I mean, Dougie don't even cuss in his joints. Come on, love it. A king.
And the early hater hating on the Fat Boys. You know, beatbox. You know, he had his little beef with the little. You know what I mean? He was like, "I'm the original." You know what I'm saying? All that. But shout out to them, rest in peace and all that.
Wait a minute. So, Kim, how was this party?
Party was turned, man. Party was lit.
Let them know what party we're talking about, please.
Talking about Dr. Jared Ball's book launch party that he had so graciously at Casa de Ball. And let me say this, like, Jared, you and your wife are just amazing hosts. You know, I came there. First of all, I came with the right people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came in there with Brother P. Shout out to Paris. Shout out to Markel.
Kim came in with the VIPs.
Right.
Puns intended.
We make sure I'm in here proper. Like, I don't know who was who plus one in that situation. But like, seriously, like it was, the vibration was beautiful. The people were beautiful. It was amazing, again, to meet Jared, to meet Jackie, to meet Netfa. Dog, it was really nice. And again, again, big up. I cannot underscore how much I appreciate the hospitality and accommodation that Jared and his wife gave, because, you know, it's not easy for me to get out and about these days. And I felt seen. I didn't feel gawked at. I was accommodated. Jared's wife made sure that I was comfortable. Do you need anything, Kim? Like, gave me a big hug. Like, I mean, I'm trying not to cry because I was so touched. Like, it was really, 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 really touching. So thank you guys. And again, I got to touch Jackie Lukman. I got to put hands on Jacqueline. Like, that just made my month.
I see the pic. I was like, you taller than Jackie? Get out of here.
Yes.
You felt good about that, did you?
Well, I'm taller than Jackie and Jared's wife. I said, y'all, I said, we need to start like a midget league. We need to go. We need to start
a little person league.
A little people society. Yeah, we got
Yeah, because what's your wife? She's got to be every bit of 4'10", right?
She will tell you she's 4'11" and a half.
In heels.
I joke all the time. She's barely a full grown adult. She's barely, you know.
Ouch.
But as we've said, I mean, you know, the cliche, what is it? Big things come in small packages or whatever. I mean, whatever it is. I mean, my wife is a powerhouse.
She's a G.
And,
I mean, a G. Recognize a real Don when you see one.
Did you get to try some vegan food, Kim?
No.
No, that was the other thing. I mean, big shout out to my wife and the in-laws.
Yes.
We had no diss, but unlike in Atlanta, we had crazy vegan options and plenty for the meat eaters. So
okay.
it was nice. And they did a lot of work, man. My in-laws are phenomenal in terms of the setup, the cleanup, the cooking. They have like an efficiency with parties. Like it's efficient. The cleanup begins before the party ends, so you're not over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a whole like routine. My daughters were kicking in, and I mean, it was. But it was great. It was great to have Kim and everybody come through to sort of get back a little bit to that we're all humans type thing. And you know what I mean? It was, we're not, and we and just to see people in a slightly, relaxed setting, you know what I mean? It wasn't, all business and
yeah, and it gave me a different perspective on you, Jared. You know what I mean? Because I don't know you.
Right.
Let's keep it about. I don't really know you. You know what I'm saying? So I know you from our interactions here. I know you from your work out there in the world, as Dr. Jared Ball, academic. But you Parrish's boy. You know what I'm saying? So so it's like, oh, this is Parrish's boy. Got it. Okay. So I feel like I have a different take on you slightly. Well, let me say my take has been expanded on.
No,
you.
I get it. it.
So Parrish is a mutual friend that y'all are real cool with. We take it.
They grew up together, basically.
Okay.
They know each other from and Parrish and I met in college, and he was and will forever be the percussionist for Mama's Biscuits.
Oh, he was in your band?
Oh, no question. No question. No question.
Wait a minute. So Kim, you just like, I'm going to Dr. Ball's house, and you was like, let me call this dude, and he was just like, oh, I know him. Or how did that even happen?
Not even. So in the Black community, we have a bunch. Not everybody, but my point is, we all have half siblings, or at least a good number of us have half siblings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my boy is Markel. Me and Markel grew up together, like next door to each other since we was infants, right? Parrish is Markel's half brother, so where I wouldn't see Parrish all the time, but I knew Parrish existed, and then we all went to high school and everything together at the same time. Parrish was class of 93, we was class of 96. So I've known Parrish for a long time. I've known his brother much better. So when we found out about the party, I asked Markel, I said, Marky, I said, is Brother P going to Jared's jam? And I said, if so, can I ride? Can I catch a ride with y'all? And so that's how it was. So yeah.
Nice. Man.
It was very dope. And Parrish his family is enormous. If the extended family he's got is huge. So on some level, I was not surprised that something like this would happen. But it was great, man. I mean, it was just fantastic. It was really a perfect day. The weather held up a little bit. You know what I mean? It was just great. It was great. I can't wait to do something like that again.
Well, I'll be up in DC in a couple of weeks, so let's get it popping.
Oh, for real? All right, yeah.
Where are you gonna be at?
I'm going to my sister's crib for a quick something. But where I was at before, you said I was like 15 minutes away.
You were super close and still didn't come through, but that's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, doctor was like, yeah, you right. I had better shit to do, Kim. Yes, you right.
I just ain't
but on the other side, JB, I realized that we have another degree of separation. I didn't even. Why is this just dawning on me, dog? Because you took RBI's call, DJ RBI called while we were doing the book launch party. I'm like, I know RBI for at least 20 years.
Wow, really?
Yes, I've known RBI for a very long time. Big up to him and Mozzie. Words beats and
right, of course. Right.
Been knowing them dudes very long time. Good brothers. I'm like, God damn, that's another degree of separation of Jared. So I feel like you and I have probably crossed paths in the world. You know what I mean? We have probably, shared.
It has to be
at a 9:30 club show.
I'm sure.
Sometimes.
I know. Somewhere in a park, somewhere we was in a crowd together.
Yeah.
And now RBI, Mozzie, great people. RBI is really one of my favorite people to have met you know, and one of those people that like you cross paths a lot, and it's like to be like we're not at each other's like clique, but he is always somebody you like. I wish we was, you know, like that would be my boy for real. Like that's like if whatever, you know what I mean? Like I could just like that's a good dude right there, and very talented, nice on the turntables, knows his music, real. Anyway, that's my guy.
RBI was part of that PFW crew.
Absolutely.
But what was the name of the show? I'm so angry at myself that I cannot think of the name of this show.
So which one was RBI on? Because Two Tone Jones, big shout out to DJ Two Tone Jones. He was on with me and Mark Bolden and Shawnee.
Do you know DJ True?
Absolutely, I know DJ True. Was just in touch with him not too long ago. Through Mozzie for a Black August thing. So he was there. RBI. So we were on the Black Academics. RBI. Which one was he? Now I can't even remember.
They had a show because I actually came up there and did the show a couple times with them at PFW, with the old PFW on when it was in Columbia Heights.
Columbia Heights, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the Soul Controllers were there, legendary DJ crew from College Park originally.
Big up DJ Book. Big up DJ Book.
Absolutely. And Bushhead and them like but now I can't remember which was RBI with Mozzie's show. No, I can't remember.
It was Mozzie, True.
And then they had a mashup on Mondays, I believe. It was like the I can't remember. Damn. But the beauty of it, we were the first to bring an all hip hop block to Pacifica Radio. That was and it was not, it was a struggle. Anyway, shout out to PFW, man. Yeah.
Welcome to Family Ties episode right here on Black Power Media Remix Morning Show.
What will we do, baby, without us? What will we do, baby, without us?
We're gonna have to come back to the five best sitcoms in the 80s. That definitely is up there.
You got to put that up there. That's Denise Williams and Johnny Mathis. You better put some respect on that Family Ties. On that Family Ties theme song, man.
Are we talking theme songs or shows?
I think
theme song. Both, Ear Doctor.
Hey, why not? Why not? I mean,
that Barney Miller bass line. I don't even remember who did that joint, but that joint was crazy. That and the Sanford and Son. Yeah, that joint.
That's so hard. Yo,
yeah, that joint was crazy. Yeah.
Word. Well, yo, let's take a quick break and then we're gonna get back to it. We're gonna hit y'all with some news, hit y'all with some talk, find out some more about this book that just got launched.
Yeah, let's go.
So let's go ahead and get to that right here, right now, on no other than the Remix Morning Show. Yo. We are Rockers International. You know, I always used to love to hear that, especially on them dance hall tapes and stuff like that. So big up everybody. Y'all remember the Lovers Rock tapes? Ooh, man, let me take y'all back. But anyway, big up to everybody out there. This is Black Power Media Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Hit that like button if you're just walking in here. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. This way you'll know all the dope stuff that's coming right here for you and yours. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get to a quick weather report. Talk about what's going on in the ATL. ATL, we got a high today of 87, so get your swim trunks on and go jump in the pool. And not only in ATL is it 87, let's take it to DC, a high 87. Same up there. Now, let's take it to Chicago, Midwest. We got a high 83 degrees, and down in Houston, we about to hit 90. That's right. So 90 degrees in Houston, and then taking it to the Bay area, Oakland, they got a high today of only 70 degrees. So you might not want to go put your shorts on and jump in the pool over there. But next, let's take it to Jamaica. They got a high today of 90. And last but not least, in the motherland, in Nairobi, Kenya, they got a high of 66 degrees. Why y'all be thinking that Africa is always hot? Maybe it's just my conditioning. I don't know. But anyway, big up to all the people that's out in these streets on these at these family parks and the people that do roller coasters. Yeah, roller coasters like the people in Wisconsin who went to a festival and was this weekend and was stuck on a coaster for like 3 hours and couldn't get down. Now, I don't really understand this whole excitement of roller coasters, actually feeling like you're gonna die. I don't know. People do a lot of stuff when they just get close to death and they love it. But yeah, fuck the roller coasters, man. Live your life and have a good one. But if you do, have a great time with it. I ain't really had nothing for y'all, but that's what it is. So let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning Crew. Because I had a long night, y'all. Let's go. Yeah, my daughter got me to take her to Six Flags Sunday. I was like, man, she to the age now I could just drop her off with her friends, so it was awkward. It was all good.
Okay.
I could not do it.
So what you complaining about? What you complaining about?
Yeah, the fact that I almost had to go, and I was like, you know what, y'all old enough.
Almost had to go.
Y'all got it. Y'all got it.
And your daughter is how old?
She's 13.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
She went with her friend and her friend's brother who was like 16. So
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's to me that sounds age appropriate. You know what I'm saying? I know some of these helicopter parents, you know, may not have been keen turning a 13-year-old loose at Six Flags by themselves.
You still don't allow them to go to Six Flags by themselves?
No.
Really?
No.
What?
Nope.
Hell no.
No, we have that is, you know, an increasingly, you know, developing issue in the household as I mean, but no, we don't. I mean, we don't. I mean, and it's really, I mean, again, it's not me. You know, I'm just the backup. But I do co-sign the decision, and no.
What's the age? What would be the age that they could go? It
depends on the maturity of the child.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah. Like my
in the tenor of the park. Yeah, like
yeah.
Yeah. There's zero chance they're going to whatchamacallit out here in Bowie by themselves. Zero chance. Zero. I wouldn't go by myself.
Oh, you're hilarious.
Zero chance.
So I dropped them off Sunday morning at 11, and you know I knew it wasn't gonna be dark. They got mad. There's still not that many people at the park, and then security got undercover there. They got all types of stuff. So I was like, hey, y'all good. And then I told her to call me every hour just to check in.
Man, I think I almost drowned at Six Flags. Well, it wasn't even Six Flags at the time. Shout out to DMVers. It was Wild World. Okay.
Right,
and they had the massive wave pool. No one was watching the kids in the pool. I think I almost bit it at Wild World one summer, but yeah.
Did you see there's a documentary out about that New Jersey what was the name of that joint? That big spot in the 80s. It was in New Jersey in the 80s.
Great Adventure?
No, big
it was
water
like a bootleg jump.
Yeah, and it like
Wild Water.
Maybe that where they was
Wild Water Park.
Bama's was like riding on tires and shit in the lazy river, like,
and a couple kids literally got killed at that spot, man. Like was like Action Park. That's what it was. That's what it was. I watched the documentary and I joke with my kids all the time, and this documentary is confirmation that I was like, nobody started really caring about their kids until maybe the early 90s. And this documentary confirms it. We was just out. I never went to that particular park, but just in general, we were just out there. No seatbelts, no helmets, no knee pads, no, you know what I mean? It was just go out, and if you make it home for dinner, it'll be here for you. But that was just basically, and that place was basically run by teens, you know, visited by teens, very little supervision, run by somebody who was just trying to make as much money as possible by scaring people as much as possible.
No regulations.
No regulations.
What's the definition of being outside? I mean, we just had to come back when the street lights came on. There was no, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'll check in and call. No, come back before the street lights come on, and that's it.
That was my only rule.
Somebody was even recounting how the adults would put us out the house and lock the door.
Yeah.
Like, don't
No in and
no,
out.
no,
No in and out.
And
no
no
in and
in and
out,
out.
in and
That's
out,
exactly
no,
right. Oh
no.
my God.
Yeah, you gonna come in, you're gonna go out. Which one you gonna do? It ain't no in and out.
That's right. That's right. Don't you be letting all that air outside.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness, that's true. Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's
So
crazy.
we
Yeah,
we we, we would experiment, like for real. Like, listen, you see how good these kids can survive in this world. And
Survive, yo.
now we put parent white gloves on and then want to be parents now. What's going on? Well, different
hey,
times.
because I don't because we saw what happened. That's the point. We remember what happened, and we wouldn't want that for our children. That's why I'm thinking like, and my kids are like, but we're not you. We're responsible. We're not you. Let us
And
out.
Jared
And I'm
said, but
like,
you're
no.
half me. And you haven't discovered that half yet.
I'm in that DNA.
I'm in there.
And
And I know I'm in there. And I know what I was out here doing.
yeah, and it's just terrifying. So it's like I do tell them we're erring on that side, and I hope you forgive us at some point and enjoy the rest of your lives. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
they will.
you know, because right now it's a little tense. It's a little tense, particularly for my 17-year-old. She's a little bit like, you are doing way too much. And yeah.
Man,
You do
listen.
sound like you're doing a lot.
Oh yeah.
Let
I
me tell
mean,
you, though.
just a little while longer, ear doctor.
I mean, I ain't got two daughters, so yeah, well, I
Jared,
got
remember you
one.
told us once that you were susceptible to the halftime speech. Can I tell you, I
Oh,
left your
yeah.
house feeling like I almost got a halftime speech because your wife was running down, the requisites that the girls need to do in order to receive
Oh,
things, right?
yeah.
Which makes sense. And she was like, "You want to go to Panama? Grades. You like living in
Grades.
a nice house? Grades." And I'm thinking to myself, I want to go to Panama. I got to get my grades up. Like, damn.
Adopt me for the
My
weekend.
grades up. Let me get my grades up so I can go to Panama. I was like,
I mean,
I felt
they're
inspired.
doing college prep and SAT prep in the summer.
Oof.
Like, and I'm
Gangster.
like, man,
Real compound over there, boy.
I mean, I'm even like, man,
Grades.
grades.
Mrs. Ball laid it out. Grades. You want to do XYZ? Grades. It's grades.
Oof, man,
Yeah.
I'll stick around for news if y'all need me, but to pronounce words right. But other than that, I'll let y'all get to it.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So I noticed,
Appreciate you, doctor.
I don't know, I don't know, ear doctor, what happened? Did you want me to play the clip? I don't know if you asked, we were looking for the clip for to commemorate this wonderful day.
Go ahead and put that clip up, since Kim hit me up last night and said, "What's up with this clip?" So play it.
I mean, I don't know. I think this is at least a portion of it, but
we could talk about it a little bit. Just play a piece.
This is the version I got right here.
What to my people is the 4th of July? My people who are failed every day by every country, sleepless in the long night, terrorized by fireworks, we who have cried salt baths for our kin. Look at all we have borne for you. Arms, armistice, the sweetest fruits, flesh of children hidden away from the ugly summer of their own blood. We are on the front lines. Help me, tell me, what do we tell the children of your 4th of July? What is death to a daughter? What is river to a sea? Where is the country where my people are safe? Ancestors, set the table, send dream mares in high supply, too heavy, too spent, too hot to cook. No promise beyond the sparkly, simple bombs. Keep your holiday, your hunger, the blood in your teeth. Police parade down streets, proud descendants of the slave patrol in a theater of denial, a propaganda pageant, and we are on the front lines. All summer, my uncle can't sleep, and he was born free, and he ain't never been. We deserve a break. We deserve to laugh, talk shit, and scream. Every day I'm waiting for rain. Some indication that this land I'm set to die on will grow good enough to deserve me. Where is it, this country that deserves us? What do we name it? What is its 4th of July? How do I tell my children there is blue sky up there? Life threw a brick through my window of opportunity. How dare I tell my children there is free? This day should be quiet. Every head lowered into the pages of history. It was illegal for us to read, and then we read the laws. The laws were illegal. Turned horses into squad cars, hounds into warrants. What to us is your 4th of July? Halos and kinks of fire, a middle finger, an ugly foil, a rain, a joke, where we are the punchline. A lie. Until you make it otherwise.
You don't want pork ribs on your grill? Come on over to Juneteenth.
Man, I gotta give him. That was well done.
Damn.
I gotta give him that one.
You gotta let Fred Douglass keep the mic in the cipher, man. Give us another hot 16, Fred. Come on. Jeez Louise.
So to reclaim this power of this day for us, what is the message in this read a book? Pretty much.
Read a book.
I mean, it said we should have our heads down in the book, like educating ourselves. Yeah, I believe that's what Frederick was talking about in that poem.
But heads down, solemn in remembrance of all those whose blood was spilled, shed, taken in the creation, formation, in the perpetuation of America. Like, I mean, and the blood continues to be shed right now to this day. That's why we should bow our heads in remembrance of all the millions of ancestors who laid down in sufferation. You know what I'm saying? Not for America, but really for us to still be here and survive. Like, they didn't die to keep America going. They were taken from us to keep America going.
So we should look at this day as remembrance, or should we even look at this day? What's your thoughts, Jared?
I think I agree with at least some of the sentiment in the chat about the brilliance of the what I still think is the brilliance of the commentary being co-opted for an M4BL voter campaign, vote for a Democrat ultimately campaign, as was shown there at the end. But content, that was shown there at the end. That's what this was from. But and why it was so well produced. That said, the content I thought and the imagery was brilliant and well, and so I get the contradiction. If I remember correctly, Douglass was delivering that to a largely white audience, so this is on some level, I'm less moved by appeals to whites and whiteness, and would be more appealed, to your point, Kim, earlier, to the halftime speech being directed at the enslaved. So if it was a version of that speech that was, or if the way I would want to interpret it is to take a version of that speech targeted towards the enslaved and the colonized and turned into some sort of George Jackson-esque call, or some sort of call to if not literal arms in terms of violence, the arms of political organization, not an appeal to the state, not an appeal in this case to mainstream electoral politics. But that said, I mean, in terms of this country not being what it ever has claimed to be, and itself a propaganda project, that to me is right on point. But
so back to the question: what should we do as Black people on this day?
It's a dark day. I mean, we don't celebrate America, nor should we. Like, for America to be here for another year, to celebrate another year of existence is a bad thing for us, ultimately, I think. Because so long as America exists, the conditions that keep us oppressed continue to exist. And not to say that if America were to go away, that our conditions would immediately improve, but it'd be a start in the right direction. it'd be a step in the right direction, and we can abolish the state. So every year that the state gets to celebrate another year of existence, I don't think is a day of celebration for us.
So is it our jobs to go and bum rush cookouts and start talking about capitalism and
no? Well, I mean, again, that's never been. That's sort of the point I'm making. And I admit this is a bias of mine from I actually can point to one particular experience that I had years and years and years ago where I was like, this is the last time I'm addressing myself to whites in regard to their politics and understanding. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I just never liked that. So I just like the idea of bum rushing other people's cookouts. No, I would rather, unless you mean black people's cookouts.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see what you're saying.
Only,
no,
I mean,
see what you're
I
saying.
ain't
I thought you were
invited to
saying
the
like
cookout.
crash other people. No, because in my head, I can't conceive of. I'm not invited to those cookouts either. The
pretty
people
much
I know wouldn't be cooking out today. But
that's what this hollow day
sorry.
is. It's about getting together, cooking out, and
well, that's why I said I
fireworks.
wanted to be here because I was like, I'm not like I wanted to be on BPM today. Like this shouldn't like to me. I don't want a day off. I don't want. You know, if classes were in session, I would be like, we meeting today. I'm like, this is not, I refuse. I will work on this day just out of spite. Like, you know, not that this is work to me, but you know what I mean?
All right. So from you, pretty much, this is a regular day. Let's keep it moving.
It's not a regular day. I don't think.
I hear
it's a day that we can show up, and I don't even consider this work, right? But we can show up in community as a small sign of protest against this day. Like we're not taking the day off, not for these crackers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, anyway. But
hey, Don Hammonds, we see you. You're acknowledged. Okay.
Big up Don. Don was at the book launch party. Don was at the book launch party. Hey, but yeah, and just real quick, can we circle back to the book launch? Jared, you know, in Ear Doctor, like when you think about it, because you guys know what it's like to play a room with folks in it, or you know, be in a venue or be in a space. 200 people stayed basically for the book launch party, and I'm visualizing 200 people in a room. Jared, that was a cracking little book launch party, man. You brought 200 folks out. I mean, that's pretty damn good.
Bring them out.
I'm very appreciative, and it was sort of a scattered. You know, I wasn't sure how the whole thing was going to go once the cookout got attached earlier in the day, and so it was not as, I guess, organized as I would have thought it would have been, but it worked out, I thought, to be a great time. And I was very honored that many people stayed that long. And this is what I keep saying, like relative to YouTube, I get that we are in whatever level that we are, but relative to what has been my real life experience as an activist, as an academic or a journalist, even the audiences here are way. I mean, we used to get happy if we had 30 people in a room. That was like oh my God, like what are we going to do now? I can't handle it. So I mean, I'm very honored that many people would want to stick around and hang out with us a little bit.
That's a nice little room. That's a nice crowd. I mean, that would have filled the Busboys and Poets down there on 14th.
Exactly.
Right. You know what I mean? Like that filled up the jump. So yeah.
Right,
and I thought about real quick, but I looked into hosting one at the Busboys out here, and then I had a similar thought. And to be honest, I'll be honest, I got it in my ego a little bit when they sent what the cost would be. And I thought, why should I be paying you to host me? That is honestly what I thought. Why should I be paying you for me to host me? That's really what it was. For me to host me in your spot when the number in the room, I don't think could have exceeded 180. I think that's the maximum in that space out here, at least. So I was like, we could do that more virtually. Not that many people would have, and there's no way 150 people would have been out here in Columbia live.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe I don't know. I don't think so.
We have a silent majority, right? So chat, y'all can confirm or deny this, but like most of the people I think that watch don't participate in the chat. I said that to say, so I think we probably got more folks even locally than we are even aware of. So I don't think 150 out here would be so out of the realm.
I went to an ice cream shop and the white boy was like, "Hey, Ear Doctor from the Remix Morning Show."
You were lying.
I am not lying. This happened like months ago, last year or something. I was like, wow. Yeah. So they outside, they watching.
Well, we'll see. Maybe, but anyway. But anyway. The point is, I really appreciated the people showing up, as you said, to the virtual, and yeah,
Last
and
question from me on
that
this
was great.
topic. Do you feel like you've completed your book? Is there more you wish you can go back and edit, or you
Oh
feel
no,
good about it?
There's so much. There's so much that I really should do. I'm just not disciplined at this point enough. I'm not disciplined and focused enough, and feeling still a little embattled with my institution. So I just am not in the space to do the kind of work that really needs to be done. That's why I'm very much appreciative, even of some of the work we're going to end up talking about this morning that others are doing. But I just had a conversation with somebody who said they're going to produce a review of the book but they also were saying they understood why no one had or would be able to, and they were saying, talking about the controversies that I inspire in the work, but this person was also saying, but these are the things that you should do, and they said, stay in your lane, just do successive editions of the book. And gave me some really good avenues and ideas for expansion. I mean, there are plenty. So I'm probably, for the time being, just going to do that.
Stay in your lane.
But I will, in this one lane, in terms of academic production. I don't see me really doing too many other things. Maybe some pieces for propaganda and focus or something like that. But there is one project that might be the one I do when I get closer to retirement. I've always wanted to do. I want to do like a real academic deep dive into the life and work of Listervelt Middleton. And for some who will know that name, he is one of the legends in African-centered media journalism work. Public TV in South Carolina, and just seemed like a very fascinating and wild dude. Not wild, but just a fascinating, brilliant dude, and not given enough credit for what he meant to my generation in terms of that wing of thought and distribution of that work. So but other than that, I'm probably, but the buying power thing, there's a lot that could be done with it. There's a lot. And so we're
waiting for volume 3 then. Volume 3 is next, and the book launch party, I'm DJing, and we're gonna turn up. I'm gonna cop this book. I'm gonna cop this book, Jared. See what I can learn from it.
We're gonna make
so
it platinum,
by the way, there will be
give me one
well, so yeah, in fact, yes, because this was the other thing. So I am planning to do, I don't know when yet, because I got to wait for the shipment, but I am going to do another sort of book related event on BPM, because that Freedom Scholars Award comes with them buying a whole bunch of copies. So I'm going to get a few hundred copies sent that should be on its way. I thought it would have been there by by the first. And when I do that, I want to do another event where we can get free copies to people. We can get people to buy copies, and the money be used to either donate to BPM or donate to some political prisoner effort or something like that. So there will be another one, and then you can get one of those for sure, as can any number of other folks. So folks should stick around. Maybe we'll do like a members only thing, and get, like, members and patrons will get first dibs at I don't know. So stay tuned.
Okay.
And one more thing, because I saw Manny Nile pop up, and if I'm correct, I believe Manny and I are, and a couple of other BPM remixers are currently in the People's Forum Pan-African Summer School or Summer something. I thought I saw Manny pop up there. It's like it's like 1,000 people in this joint, and so shout out to Manny and the others that and to your point here, Doctor, a couple people did hit me up and say, "Oh, what's up? I see you on BPM." So
okay, nice. I'm waiting for Kim's book, Life Behind the Microphone. Kim, that's a hell of a title, a book, and you've
That's
had
a
how many
good
years
point.
behind the mic?
A lot.
You got stories to tell, and you got at least one Red Man chapter in there.
And the
So
whole being able to speak Russian and all this stuff.
all
Come
that.
on, man. We want to hear that. We want
Y'all
this
are being
book.
very generous.
You gotta
No,
have.
I mean,
Because
Yeah, you gotta have. Yeah.
Ear Doctor Ponders is coming out. Continue.
yes. Is this Ear Doctor's philosophies? Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Listen
I
to
got a
this.
lot.
Ear Doctor's daily affirmations.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Pick your records right.
That's right. Do the research.
Oh my goodness.
Yo, but nah, for real, Kim. For real.
No, one
Think
day
about
I
that.
will tell my story because y'all, I mean, seriously, like you get to a certain age and you start to, look back a little bit. And I was thinking of this recently. I'm so thankful to young Kim, like for her being who she was, for her taking the stands that she did, for her talking the shit that she did. Like I really have a lot of respect for my younger self. She was a bad mama jamma out here, seriously. You know what I mean? And hopefully maybe if I do decide to pen a book, if anyone would be interested, like, it's I wouldn't say overcoming, because you don't necessarily overcome a disability. You just you learn how to live with it. I've been living with this diagnosis for over 20 years, and I look back at all the shit that I did post getting my diagnosis. So again, young KB was a bad motherfucker out here. So yeah, you might be right here, doctor. I might have to put pen to paper and tell the people what's going on.
Yes.
So we got a platform right here, yo. He got a book. You can have a book. My book is on the way. So let's get it.
Pre-order.
All right, I'm out of here. Let me let y'all
Drop
get
the pre-order links. Speaking of pre-orders, thank you, Ear Doctor. Speaking of pre-orders, JB, how can we get? Is the pre-order link available? Where can the people them pick it up?
The book is out, so there's no pre-order necessary. So people can, and I just made it easy. If folks go to imixwhatilike.org, the link is right there at the front. And then, but like I said, and you can get e-copies, hard copies, all that. But I am going to, I'm waiting for the shipment to get here, and then I'm going to do this another little event of sorts, and folks, certainly our colleagues and comrades here on the platform can get a copy,
But for the folks who want to support, you know what I mean? Like, and I know you spoke about this a little bit during the book launch party. Like, it's not a profitable thing to put on, you know what I'm saying? It's not a money-making venture, but if we could get your sales up to X point, we want there to be recognition for you. You understand? Like, we appreciate your willingness to give out free copies to your folks, but at the same time, we as the folks need to show the fucking literary world or whatever that Jared Ball got the goods out here. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it. So yeah, the link is there at imixwhatilike.org. Then it'll take you to the site where you can get whatever version you prefer. And Marley Gordon is asking about an audio book, and unfortunately there can't be one because the publisher isn't supporting it and they own the copyright. So I can't. I don't know what it would mean.
Weird though.
Yeah,
don't you think it's strange?
It's very weird. But this is I do talk about sometimes the parallels between academic publishing and music publishing, and there are many ways we're the same. Like the contract turns over the ownership of the masters, so to speak.
They got his masters.
They got his masters. So I'm gonna become the artist formerly known as Dr. Ball. Yeah.
Read your contract, Dr. Ball.
No, I mean that's it. So and I asked them about an audio book, and they said they don't support that. It's not, so I don't, but anyway, and no, the book, Ricky's not $70. This one, I believe, is much cheaper this time. So
I think that hardcover
was it that much? I thought it was down to $40.
I thought it was like 40.
Oh Lord.
I mean, 40,
anyway,
70.
But it's still, it's not inexpensive, but there is an e-version, and then folks can stick around and get a free or depending on how much they want to donate to whatever organization, they highly reduced price. So especially if you're a BPM member or patron, you all are going to get. I think we should do it that way. We owe you all something anyway.
Wow.
So
Become
we'll
a patron. Patreon.com/Black Power Media.
Yeah.
Jared said there's a book in it for you.
There's a book in it for you. So, yeah. So anybody, just stick around, stay tuned for that, and continue to support this platform and all the, and so many benefits and rewards come with it. Swag bags and all that other kind of stuff on its way.
Nice.
Unfortunately, now, so Ear Doctor, I don't know, we got enough time for one story before you come back? Is that, or you want to come back?
Go
now?
ahead. You got a story? Go ahead, bust the story.
I mean, we got a couple stories, but I thought one we could start with that is a couple days old, but is a little bit of fascinating to me. Is this story about the layoffs at ESPN?
Oh,
whoa!
And
my boy Van Gundy, man, come on.
A lot of folks are on their way out.
Or Stan, my bad.
Jeff Van Gundy,
he
18 nothing years.
Oh,
Keyshawn Johnson, Susie Colbert,
my boy
Keyshawn Johnson, Max Kellerman, Jalen LaFonso Ellis. I mean, it was a whole bunch.
Jalen?
Yes,
Jalen.
I can't even remember. There's so many that they let go of. And then I just saw a video this morning where Stephen A. Smith is saying he might be next. He's saying he doesn't even feel safe because part of the issue is that Disney, the parent company, is wanting to cut costs. And they just paid Pat McAfee this huge $85 million contract. And so there's this whole thing of bringing YouTubers onto the platform with the idea that you have to be able to bring ESPN an audience, not expect them to deliver one for you. So that seems to be the new trend.
They're gonna have Cameron and Mason on the ESPN.
I mean, they might.
Yeah. They might be $1 million worth of game on SportsCenter.
I mean, really,
it is what it is.
That's. I mean, so they got rid of Steve Young. They got rid of a lot of the older.
What's up with my man's? I ain't worried about Wilbon. Is Tony Kornheiser safe? Is Kornheiser?
I don't even know. Is Korn? I honestly, I haven't watched in so long. Is he still? Yeah, I think. Yeah. I remember I used to listen to Kornheiser back on DC AM radio back in the early '90s, delivering pizza.
I've been reading Tony Kornheiser columns since I was a youth. I always do. And even before I even fully knew, Black bourgeoisie and Coon and all that, it was always something about Michael Wilbon that did not sit right with me. even as a young, I'm like, I don't know about this dude right here. He's so respectability, man.
And when he said what he said about Sean Taylor, when he did that whole, when Sean Taylor got killed, and he did the whole where you hang out with Doug, he did that whole kind of thing, and it was really gross. Dude died, defending his house from a home invasion. If people don't know that story, Sean Taylor was one of the best free safeties ever. And at the prime of his career in Miami.
He was in Miami when he got killed, but playing for the
he was playing for the Washington football team, right? I'm sorry, but he was at home in Miami and had just with his wife and newborn daughter, and I think it was a relative's or like a cousin's friend, something who had been at the house earlier, ran in there and shot him in the leg, and it turned out to be fatal. The femoral artery got hit, and it was terrible. And then here come Wilbon, to your point, the whole, kind of, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was that whole, live by the sword, die by the sword. And it was like, first of all he had was a machete, and they were like, if Sean had actually had a gun, like you said, he was supposed to be a gun-toting thug, he may come out of that. But I don't know. That was at least part of the argument at the time. Anyway, it was anyway, it was just a horrible, horrible thing, and very sad, very sad.
The best white boy commentator to me is Ernie Johnson. That guy has it. He has it. You know what I mean? He has it. He's himself. He's not trying to be like, let me act like I'm black since I'm around all these black. Ernie Johnson is just the white boy that just hangs around black people, and he's still himself. And he comes off with some quick-witted stuff, especially going against Barkley and Kenny the Smith. I said Kenny the Smith, Kenny the Jet. Man,
I don't watch any of that anymore. The one that I see in clips is that JJ Riddick.
Oh,
he seems to be
player.
sharp, and in these clips I see. But in terms of the white boy crew, but I haven't seen. Man, I'm so out of the loop. It's wild. I haven't seen any of this stuff in so long.
Pat McAfee, for a moment, isn't Pat McAfee one of the more like he's a conservative sports commenter, right?
I assumed it. All I knew was that all I knew vaguely that he used to play ball and that he's a host of a show. I haven't listened to 1 second of the show. I don't know anything about this dude other than he just got an $85 million contract. So I honestly couldn't tell you, but I assumed it just because that seems to be there's this claim that it's a woke environment and you know all of that, but
at Disney.
I don't know.
Pick up the Mean Gene Okerlund, another great. Go ahead.
Oh wow.
You know me, Gene. Oh man, Mean Gene.
You know me. Oh man. Shout out to Randy Macho Man Savage, even though he was a Klansman, I think. But yeah.
Oh no.
I don't know if he was officially a Klansman, but you know,
beater. We know that much.
It wouldn't shock me.
Oh man. I do watch that series Dark Side of the Ring. And even though I never really watched wrestling like that, I do watch these shows, and these characters, boy, it's a lot of drugs, a lot of steroids, a lot of crime, a lot of violence against women, men, everybody. I mean, this is, I'm like, damn. Yeah, that's a wild environment. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, but
well, hold on. Wait, circling back to the story here, because the names that you listed off, with the exception of Kellerman and maybe one other, I mean, it sounded like the affirmative action hires, you know, it sounded like all the coloreds and the women's, like the coloreds and the women's.
So it's interesting.
We don't have space to go on the payroll. Sorry, you saw the Supreme Court said it. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. The Supreme Court said we ain't have to fuck with y'all no more. So.
Oh, that's funny. I did see. I honestly don't know. I did notice that Stephen A. Smith said in his this little clip that I just saw this morning. He said there's more firings to come, and you know something to the effect that he expects either himself or some other black employees to get fired, because he seemed to suggest that most of the people getting let go were white. And that he was waiting for and that he was like, if they're getting fired, you know, we can't be, you know, far behind. But the only other thing that I remember seeing is that apparently the sister Malika Andrews, people want her gone. Now I don't know if this is a racial gender thing or if she's just not good at her job. I don't know what it is, but she seems to be. The argument was that they should have fired her and kept Jalen. And or something, I don't know, something like that. But I don't watch anymore. So and I've never seen her either. So I don't know anything about.
But you know what? This is getting to be more like how with music, radio is dying, internet is picking up. Same thing with ESPN is dying, internet is picking up. Where you got all these shows, all these podcasters that can get on there and cuss, talk about whatever, have real conversations with the athletes that played the game. So they like, you know what? We don't really need ESPN no more. We can go do our own show and get our own followers and make our own money. So it's the same thing with music.
And there's discussion. I did see some of the discussion just following that story a little bit, where it was that people prefer the YouTube space now and the more homegrown, taking it back. Oddly, you mentioned radio. There was one argument I saw that said it's YouTube that's taking us back to the true origins of talk radio, and that people really like, and that before the corporate takeover and the sort of sanitizing of the space, people really like that authentic. So they'll listen to some local YouTuber live stream, chat about a game there, everybody's watching, turn the sound off, and then go to the post game for that too. And ESPN was losing all this audience, and that's why they went for Pat McAfee and probably some others. So I thought that was pretty deep, though, that it's sort of bringing us back was the argument to a time before ESPN. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, even to Ear Doctor's point and to your point too, Jared. I mean, the broadcasting space has almost come full circle, right? Because when you look at how popular podcasts and podcasting is, when I listen to some of these podcasts, I'm thinking of old time radio. When it was like Lucille Ball and whoever the fuck, doing radio skits, doing live radio dramatizations, but that was pre-television. That is how people got their entertainment. So it's amazing to me that through the medium of an audio medium, people have not reinvented, but have found this kind of entertainment again. And I lived, I worked through a period of radio where program directors would tell you, don't talk, music is the star, keep it going. But when you got to a point where the music was oversaturated and people could find the music anywhere, well, what distinguishes your radio station or your program from the similarly formatted one down the dial? It's the personalities. It's the people that are talking in between the songs. And when you kneecap the personalities, what the fuck does your radio station have? You playing the same music that everybody else is fucking playing. You know what I mean? So when you devalue the personality, you're devaluing your product. You know what I'm saying? So I love that people have been able to create their audiences on this newer medium, but that's very similar to the old medium. You know what I mean? So yeah, full circle moment here for broadcasting, I think.
It's only copyright that's probably saving traditional radio at this point. Because who wouldn't tune in here if Ear Doctor could do his thing musically and do it like and do it like a radio style, like if we were all hosting and he could actually be rocking music in between and launching, nobody would be tuning into it. Would be the same,
and y'all would still get my Ponder skits. You know what I'm saying? You get it all right here still to this day on the Remix Morning Show, y'all. In case y'all didn't know, we have all that. We got talk, we got news, we got everything. What else you need? Oh my goodness. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back with some more of the Remix Morning Show. Damn, Show.
Oh, yes.
Please listen to my demo. I'd like to take y'all back a little bit. If y'all know what song that was and who did that song, go ahead and put it in the chat. We like to play a little quick game. We like to have a little fun up here at the same time, give you news. That's what we do on the Remix Morning Show. Hit the like button if you're just getting in here. We got 288 people watching live now. Let's go ahead and make it 300 so I can go ahead and give y'all a mix at the end of the show. All right, subscribe button for the new people. What I wanted to do is, since we got some music playing in the background, I wanted to give you, where did we hear that before? All right, so where did we hear that before? I like to go into my crates. So with that said, let's start off with the first time you heard this song and when it was redone. Now, let's take you back to a group called the Soul Searchers right here, where they came up with, and they had this song right here. Now, I know you know that, but then the beat goes here. Y'all ready for it? All right. Now, this came out in 1974. Album was Salt of the Earth. Now, listen to this. All right. Now, you heard that part right there. Now, where did that part get redone at? Let's find out right here. It took it all the way 1989. That's right. Let's take it up to time with no other than LL Cool J on his album Walking with a Panther. This came out in 1989. This song is called Jack the Ripper. This was a diss song towards Kumo D. So as you can see, used back then with this right here. We started off with that paid in full beat. Speaking of, just gonna throw that little tidbit in there for you. That paid in full beat went to no other than. That's right. So that is your Where Did I Hear That Before? Right here on the Remix Morning Show. Now let's get back to our crew. You know how we do. Yeah.
I'm riding high. Sorry. My bad. Go on.
So two quick, 1 point and 1 question. I think I'm right that is also in that original Soul Searchers Ashley Roach clip is the name of the track.
Ashley Roach clip, my bad. I ain't even say it.
That's Chuck Brown on guitar. Who would later become Chuck Brown in the Soul Searchers. And then Chuck Brown would then become the godfather of go-go.
Look at that.
So we gotta have that. Chuck Brown is rest in power. That's
I didn't even put that together. Right, you're right. Nice.
So then my one question though is, who is or are you about to reveal the original sample of and I think somebody got it, of the Please Listen to My Demo. Like, who is that? What is that?
That is no
Fazo.
other than Fazo.
I'm riding high.
Okay, that's what you were saying. Okay, I don't know that. I don't remember.
Jam, dog. Like a jam. Woo. I mean, Jared, it's so, well, you know the record. Everybody know the record. It's funky. And it's sexy. What Friday was that? Next Friday, when Ice Cube was high sitting in his uncle's living room and he was fantasizing about the next door neighbor dancing sexy for him. That's the song that was playing in the background, that Fazo.
Okay. Did I ever see the Next Friday? I don't think I watched the rest of the Fridays.
You're not a real stoner.
But yeah, and EPMD.
Fake ass stoner. How you not see all the Fridays, Jared?
I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't know. I think when the whole EP. Well, obviously EP. Okay, right.
My demo. So
when Ice Cube told Michael Rappaport that he played for the Cucamonga Cracker Killers, come on.
Well, I really don't like Michael Rappaport. So I'm always like, I avoid all of his content, but it's including that horrific thing he did about De La Soul. I'm still upset that A Tribe Called Quest. Yeah. I'm still upset that he did that documentary. The beats, rhymes, and whatever that. I really am so upset by that. But I think I just got caught up in the whole, when Chris Tucker left the franchise. I guess I just. I don't know.
That valid point. I mean, Chris Tucker was that first Friday. You know what I mean? Well, it was brilliant ensemble casting. Let me just say that, between Chris Tucker, between Bernie Mac, between Debo, between Smokey. You better have my bud or my money. But even though that crazy ass nigga Faison Love, that nigga crazy as hell. But
he is crazy apparently.
But he played Big Worm. No, he played Big Worm.
Played Big Worm. I mean, I don't remember. It wasn't like I'm hating on it consciously. It just never. I don't know. It just never.
Never.
But anyway, never just Anyway,
so that is your throwback for
John
today.
Witherspoon, right? Sorry, yes.
John Witherspoon. My apologies. Jesus, how could I forget?
No, we all forgot. Latif had to remind us. Latif, aka Colossus.
It was good to see Latif. That brother's a cool brother at the
y'all met Latif.
Yeah, Latif was down there holding it down. Big up Latif.
Big up Latif. Bam. What's going on?
Get out of here. I'll let you on.
Appreciate you, pimp.
Kim, did you have any stories? Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Please,
no. You're good. You're good. Just wanted to thank everybody for joining us on today. I don't know if we're going to get Ear Doctor mix levels of participation, even though Ear Doctor should bless us anyway, because really it is you know what I'm saying? We need some jubilation on this 4th of July. We need some jubilation on this 4th of July. So Ear Doctor should bless us on the strength. But listen, guys, don't forget to like the video, give the video like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Thanks to everybody that joins us each and every Remix Morning Show day. Big up to everyone that came through to the book launch. We had a wonderful audience. I was so amazed. not because that I know the people that love you, Jared, but I'm like, God damn, people signed for 3 hours. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So I'm actually I have something coming for you in an email. And unfortunately, like
Okay.
I don't really have good stories, y'all, because our brothers and sisters in Palestine right now are going through it. They are going through it with the Israeli occupation and the crackdown, and these Bamas running up in mosques. And I mean, it is a horrific situation happening right now in
Yes.
Gaza. So
I'm glad
uh
you were catching that one for us, and I'll pull it up now. Um, are there three
and one of
links?
the there are. So the first
Okay.
two are what's happening in Palestine, and
Okay.
there's some video content there. So
Yep.
content warning,
Yeah. Content.
everybody. But
Yep. So I'm
but
pulling the first one
listening,
up here. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Would you mind telling it? What does the
So
tweet
this one is
say?
from Sarah Wilkinson, and it says more war crimes as Israeli troops attack Palestinian bystanders and relatives of the wounded outside Jenin's hospital. And there's a 6-second clip here of some, uh, it just looks like some activity outside of an
Barbarism.
explosion. Yeah. Um, and I do think, just to connect it back to today, that part of U.S. independence has meant supporting imperialism everywhere, including in Palestine. So yeah, I'm very glad you brought this to our attention. Let me pull up the second one here.
It's just I
Um,
mean, it's such a heartbreaking. I mean, I hate to even use descriptors like heartbreaking because it sounds so trite. It doesn't even fully encompass the depths of emotion and sadness and despair I know all of us feel for them people. So imagine how they feel right now. You know what I mean? So what does this one say,
this
Gerard?
one from Al Jazeera English, video footage shows an Israeli bulldozer destroying a street in Jenin refugee camp in the occupied West Bank as Israeli forces carried out a deadly raid. The destruction of roads has prevented ambulances from getting to injured people, say Palestinian officials. And it's, yeah, just another 49-second clip again. I mean, I don't, honestly, I don't, I don't know what to say. You just a bulldozer destroying property, destroying
People's
roads
homes,
and
people's
homes,
lives,
and the ability for
the
them to get their
communities.
medical treatment and all of that. So, um,
I mean, the occupation of what's been happening to the Palestinian people, they don't have access to clean water. I mean, their hospitals are being destroyed, homes being settler colonized, you know what I mean, by the Israelis. And the US is just obviously in agreement with all this destruction and genocide being done by the Israelis. I mean, shit, the US government funds it. To
right.
what is a Palestinian the fucking 4th of July? You know what I mean? Like our country is funding their oppression.
Yeah. And I'll beg everyone's forgiveness. I don't know enough about this latest version or what the claim is as to the reasons uh, for it. Are they arguing again that Palestinians precipitated this somehow, or I'm not even honestly sure what, but it just is just more of the same. Yeah, yeah.
So to the extent that you and I can kind of chat about this, I know neither of us are experts on this issue or this region, but what we can talk about is the way that it's covered, right? And I can recall as a younger person, as a teen, right, when Yasser Arafat would come over to DC, and him and Bill Clinton and whoever the fuck was in charge of Israel at the time, they would all go to Camp David, and there'd be a big media spectacle of all these three leaders, their hands on top of each other, shaking hands, shaking hands. Well, first of all, I always remember Arafat kept a pistol on him at all times. He didn't give a fuck who house he was at. Yasser Arafat stage strapped with that thing. But anyway, so the way that U.S. foreign policy used to be covered by mainstream outlets, you would at least know who the president of this one, of that one is. You don't even know. They don't even tell you who the president of places are anymore, especially what's going on in Palestine. So whereas we used to at least hear about the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization. We would hear about these organizations or these groups representing the interests of Palestinians. There's no such thing reported in mainstream press anymore. And not to say that we should be relying on the mainstream press, not at all. But that is how the majority of people do receive their information. It's just been a noticeable shift, like a marked shift in the way that mainstream American media covers U.S. foreign policy and even covers events abroad. You know what I mean? Do you see that?
I do, and well, part of it I can't remember. My memory is horrible, but there has been, so anyway, whether it's Pew or maybe Fair.org or others have been noting this for a while. The trend in what is the word I'm looking for? The separation of audiences. That's not really the right word I'm looking for, but it's the polarization of audiences from media outlets. And it was something like when there was, what was it, a year or so ago, where there was that comparison between MSNBC and Fox, I think, and it was like slightly, both were in the high 90s, but MSNBC actually has a slightly higher capture of the Democratic audience than Fox did of the Republicans. But basically, it was just complete siloing of audiences, and including a very right-wing undercurrent in social media that often is not credited enough in terms of when people wanted to ask, well, how did Trump win once upon a time and all that other kind of stuff. And when all of that happens, it's very hard for people to get any kind of same page baseline, even from which to work, or to around which to disagree. So you don't. So it's easier to do what it is that you're talking about with higher and greater impact in terms of the penetration of a target audience. It's just and the distribution of single source material. Where social media just ends up regurgitating an initial source in some or another distorted view. It just makes it very hard, I think, to understand what's going on with regardless of the topic. And then when you're talking about Israel and Palestine in particular, I mean, I don't even mean to giggle like that, but I mean, it's just, I mean, the idea that you're going to have any kind of accuracy in terms of mainstream coverage is just really, it's hard to imagine. So, but that said, I again, with this story, I just have not been caught up, and I've just been hearing about the damage and the violence, and it's just like, here we go again with this stuff. And the other thing, honestly, I did think of is well, how much worse is it than, well, how much worse is it than we're even hearing about, and then what else is being obscured by whatever discussion of the topic exists. So I don't know. I'm just looking at some of these headlines in the mainstream press, and the headlines seem, I don't have subscriptions to any of these outlets like the Times or the Washington Post, but
it's
the New York
always
Times
big
says
both sidesism. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Go ahead. What did the headlines read?
This one says attack in Tel Aviv wounds 8 during Israel's deadly raid in West Bank. As the incursion into the Palestinian city of Jenin continued, Israeli officials said that the car had hit civilians in Tel Aviv, an assault praised by Hamas. So that right there does a lot. The headline is more balanced than the subtext, but first of all, they do the whole thing, Israeli officials said. So whatever comes after that is what's been said by Israeli officials, and then Palestinians are only referenced when violence is being so-called praised by Hamas. So it's.
But also notice how it led with the injuries of the Israelis, not the murders of the Palestinians. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
It prioritizes whose life and whose well-being is more important to this audience, to the New York Times audience. The fact that 8 Israelis were injured, not to mention, how about the Palestinians that were actually killed? Why don't you lead with that, New York Times?
Right,
you bitches.
But that's standard protocol. Well, offer a pretense of balance, but we'll get our information from Israeli officials. So, I mean, and again, like I keep one of my favorite lines from Amiri Baraka is when he said in criticism of a Jesse Jackson campaign that both the slave and the slave master cannot be right. So this idea of objectivity is absurd, like, and I used to joke with my students all the time, let's send you back as a journalist to the 17th century plantation. And how would you cover that?
Oh my God.
Well, we would sit down with the slave master and his family and get an in-depth, how does it feel? And then tell the story from that. Slaving officials said
that the slaves have never been happier.
That they've never been happier. And when we ever have to administer violence, it's for their own benefit, and they deserved it, those terrorists. Now, it is interesting, if you go back and read the initial reporting, for instance, of Nat Turner's rebellion, they describe Turner and his comrades as insurgents. They literally use that word. So whenever Israeli, Palestinian insurgents, Iraqi insurgents, Taliban insurgents. I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm rooting for the insurgents. I'm rooting for the insurgents.
Yeah, who you insurgencing? Who's should be anyway? So
team insurgent out this junk. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I got your other. Oh no, wait, no, not. Well, we'll come back to that because I see. Fair. Speaking of the insurgents that we root for. He's insurgents, the ones and twos.
Yeah, we're gonna stretch these stories out, yo.
Wait. So Kim has another good one. And
really?
Then one that I really want to contribute to this morning is going to take a little time to get through, and I think perfectly encapsulates what this day, this Independence Day, is really all about.
Okay, well, I'll do a quick break and we'll get right back to it right here on No Other Than the Remix Morning Show. Yeah.
Remix.
Yeah. What up, people out there? This is No Other Than the Remix Morning Show. We hit 300, so you shall get a mix at the end. If we got enough time, we're going to see. So let me get to it real quick. We're going to do an artist spotlight. Who are we talking about on this artist spotlight? No other than the lady they call Rah Digga. All right, Rashana Fisher. I think I did this before, but hey, for those who haven't known, you're going to find out today. All right, Rah Digga. She's a rapper, actress, best known for being a member of the Flip Mode Squad down with Busta Rhymes. She had her debut album in 2000, which was called Dirty Harriet. And then later came out with her only other album, which is Classic, in 2010. So 10 years, came back with another one. She also stars in different movies and different things like 13 Ghosts. She's straight out of Jersey, big up Newark. She's at the age of 48, about my age. That's crazy. She studied electrical engineering in New Jersey School of Technology. Now, she studied rap by learning KRS-One and Rakim and Cool G rap. Now, that's great because you're talking about braggadocious storytelling, metaphors, and wordplay. Some of the best to learn from. Yes, she did that. All right, but she got spotted by Q-Tip at a lyricist lounge. We're doing some stuff with the Outsiders. She did a feature track on the Fugees album, Cowboys. So she pretty much blew up from that Fugees album, and then she started rocking with Busta Rhymes in the Flip Mode Squad. After that, like I said, she did 2 albums. You could catch her right now doing a podcast with Lord Jamal and comedian Godfrey called Ya I Mean Godcast. So yeah, you can check her out. She's still doing her thing now, and still getting on stages and burning them down when she gets the microphone. So like I said, you can catch her 2 albums, or you could also catch her in different films like the Hip Hop Witch, Carmen, Hip Hopera, 13 Ghosts, and Stars. So big up to no other than Rah Digga. All right, now let's get back to our crew. Now we do.
We going Non-stop from hopscotch and pop rock. Foul coming out of my mouth like I'm a shock jock. Got it locked, stop, hip hop block watch. Swishing on these boys on net.
Please, please let me run this real quick, man.
Rah Digga likes the roaches. If anyone approaches, we like no buenos.
I've never seen this video.
R&B singers perpetrating guns to is perhaps one of the foulest. I inhale large clouds of smoke through my chalice, bucking at stars and write rhymes for hours. Yeah, whiskey
this scenario.
Can't no other is in the barrier.
Yo.
Cause me and
Rashid, it's
Where's
a
the
barrier
informant at?
because you're blazing in your silos. All up in your pockets and bounce with accountants and give me good stock tips.
What? They're gonna form it. And
All the
farmers.
head beaters, the leg eaters, be retreaters, carry real heaters.
I rock the Nubian.
I rock
the Nubian.
Come on, man. I have wanted, oh my God, I used to dream about them teaming up.
Oh, that would have been crazy.
That needed to have all the things that I always used to want for Lauren to do in her career to make me happy. That would have been it.
Yes.
Yeah, her and Digga could have been an ill duo, man.
God.
Like an ill
Jersey's
duo.
finest.
That's my favorite part of the whole album. And that album is legendary from beginning to end to me. And that's literally my favorite part of the album. That is just Rah Digga, man. She another one. If somebody like on my bucket list to hang out with, to drink chant with, to cook out with, play spades with.
That's Rah Digga. Yeah, you could tell she have a good old time hanging.
She seems real cool on those podcasts too, man. I mean, I've watched a few of them, and she just comes across very cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is your artist spotlight for the day. I'll catch y'all at the end of the show with a mix. Peace.
Yes.
Thank you, Ear Doctor. That's very revolutionary of you, sir. We appreciate that. Thank you. It's the Remix Morning Show. It's just the Howard County kids in here with y'all today. KB, JB in the building. Jared from Columbia, Parrish's homeboy. That's Dr. Jared Paul, and he's Parrish's homeboy. So yeah,
Parrish's homeboy, aka Parrish's homeboy.
Right.
That's it.
So the other bummer story I have for you guys today are the events that are going on in France. And it's interesting because isn't Bastille Day? Bastille Day is tomorrow, right?
You know what? I honestly don't know.
And historically, France, they like to yacht heads on Bastille Day. So anyway, but what's going on in France? So in addition to the long-standing protests that they've been having against austerity cuts, last week a French teenager, or a teen rather, was killed by a French police officer. I believe the young man was 17 years old. French officials, to my knowledge, you guys correct me if I have this wrong, but they still have not released the full name of the teen, who was laid to rest over the weekend, and his funeral was attended by hundreds. But the main story that's been coming out has been the so-called quote unquote riots. We know what they're called, uprisings. Thousands of people in the streets, and they have been met equally by a force in the tens of thousands by French police officers. Over to most recent reports that I've seen, over 2,500 people have been arrested. I mean, we can get the story here, Jarrod, if they're giving it. I don't even know if this is in English, to be honest.
I don't either, but the headline is delicious. As my man Kaba says, white people are white peopling. Because according to France, and I think it is in English, so I'll play it in a second. According to France 24 English, online donations for French policemen who sparked nationwide riots by shooting a teenager dead topped £1 million or francs. Is that francs or is that euros? Dwarfing donations made to the victim's family and sparking controversy.
Wow.
So that seems consistent with how things go over here, but let's see if I can... if this is in English,
raised in just 4 days, with more than 45,000 participants and one-off donations of up to €3,000.
Yeah,
All this in order to support the family of the police officer under investigation for the death of Nael, killed after being stopped in the Paris suburb of Nanterre last week. The GoFundMe campaign was set up by Jean Messia, a former spokesman for far-right politician Eric Zemmour. It is causing a major stir online, with many calling for it to be deleted. This police union rep has defended the campaign.
Aujourd'hui, vous avez une mère qui se retrouve seule avec un enfant.
You have a mother who's on her own with a child. Her husband is currently detained. He's going to launch legal proceedings, which will last a long time, and we know it'll be high profile. His wife needs this financial support to be able to continue bringing up her child.
So could this fundraiser legally be cancelled? It is authorised if its sole purpose is to support the family, but a judge can ban it if it's used to finance fines or damages, or if it threatens public order. In 2021, another fundraiser was cancelled by the courts. It had been set up to support a yellow vest protester who had been convicted of assaulting a policeman.
The facts of both cases are not necessarily the same. The description of the fundraiser wasn't the same, so all of this is really down to interpretation.
GoFundMe has stated that the campaign complies with its terms of use and has no plans to remove it for the time being. A separate fundraiser set up to raise money for Nael's family has raised just over 200,000 euros.
Wow.
That's bullshit, because first of all, GoFundMe will, I thought part of GoFundMe's terms and agreements or whatever, terms and conditions, were that you cannot raise money for someone that is charged with a crime, with a felony. Hey, tell me if I got that right or wrong, chat. Like, I thought GoFundMe would snatch that down. If you're charged with murder, you can't go fund your defense. The GoFundMe allegedly does not let you do that. Maybe I have that wrong. But
I'm not clear on that, but that's, I honestly, to me, that, I don't know. I'm more bothered by the part that they're just able to raise that much more money for him than the boy is for the boy that's killed. I get it, but it's like another Zimmerman type thing. I mean, they just become called celebs for the white right, and get all this money. And that boy and the other one, all these little boys, all of them, yeah. So, but if we can, just to extend this misery back a little bit, and to commemorate this day appropriately, starting with a shout out to Millennials Are Killing Capitalism. They just did an interview about this article with the author and friend of the show, Dr. Orasami Burton. But and I'm showing this article from Truth Out that Burton wrote. New docs link CIA to medical torture of indigenous children and black prisoners. This joint, and this article, it deserves so much more attention, and is going to be, I think, part of what is being discussed here will be discussed further in Burton's forthcoming book. But oh my goodness. And Silber, you're exactly right. Burton is a serious scholar. Burton might, and a buddy of mine in Texas said he might be the most important young scholar around right now. And he's definitely in the running. But the subhead here is that while we may never know the full truth, we owe it to those harmed and killed to illuminate their stories. This thing here, this story here, this place, every time you think that they can't, like, this place just keeps getting worse. So I'll read through as much of this as we can, but again, I think this perfectly commemorates what this day is all about. The first paragraph here, Burton writes, the documentary record of mind control experiments conducted by the United States and other governments during the Cold War is just the tip of the iceberg, and our collective ignorance is by design. In early 1973, as the fallout from the Watergate scandal exposed the need for greater congressional oversight of U.S. intelligence agencies, the head of the CIA, or Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, ordered the destruction of all documents related to MK Ultra. On April 20th, 2023, a group of indigenous women known as forgive my mispronunciation, so I'm just going to refer to them as the Mohawk Mothers, achieved a milestone in their ongoing lawsuit against several entities, including McGill University, the Canadian government, and the Royal Victoria Hospital in Quebec. The parties reached an agreement whereby archaeologists and cultural monitors would begin the process of searching for unmarked graves, which the Mohawk Mothers believe are buried on the grounds of the hospital. Over the preceding 2 years, approximately 1,300 unmarked graves, most of them containing the remains of Indigenous children, have been discovered on the grounds of 5 of Canada's former residential schools. Throughout the 20th century, the residential school system, the Indian boarding school system, its U.S. counterpart, separated thousands of Indigenous children from their families, stripped from their language, and subjected them to various forms of abuse amounting to what Truth and Reconciliation Commission called cultural genocide. But as these horrific revelations demonstrate, the harm wasn't only cultural. A 1907 investigation found that nearly 1/4 of school attendees did not survive graduation.
God damn!
Yeah. And it gets, I hate to say this gets worse, everybody. So I guess I should say trigger warning. It's just, this is monstrous. But I think, especially on a day like today, we should look at it. Just a little bit more here. In October of 2021, new evidence surfaced linking disappeared Indigenous children to MK Ultra experiments conducted by CIA-sponsored researchers. A white Winnipeg resident named Lana Ponting testified in Quebec Superior Court that in 1958, when she was 16 years old, doctors from the Allen Memorial Institute, a former psychiatric hospital affiliated with McGill and the Royal Victoria Hospital, held her against her will, drugged her with LSD and other substances, subjected her to electroshock treatments, and exposed her to auditory indoctrination, playing a recording telling Ponting over and over again that she was either a bad girl or a good girl. Skipping ahead just a little bit more, this was connected to a memorial institute to the home of MK Ultra's sub Project 68, which just continues the atrocities. But what the Mohawk Mothers and their allies have found is compelling, particularly for me. Burton continues, I have spent the last several years researching the history of behavior modification programs in U.S. prisons. My forthcoming book, Tip of the Spear, Black Radicalism, Prison Repression, and the Long Attica Revolt, available in October of 2023, uncovers the roots of the modern prison abolitionist movement and state efforts to destroy it during the 1960s and 1970s. It details a little-known program of prison-based scientific experimentation that intersects with the Mohawk Mothers' struggle. In 1966, New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller, whose family foundation helped establish the Allen Memorial Institute, launched a partnership whereby a team of McGill consultants were brought to New York to establish programs and conduct research at the Dannemora State Hospital for the Criminally Insane, according to the Canadian psychiatrist Bruno Cormier's 1975 The Watcher and the Watched. The official purpose of the collaboration was to develop new methods for preventing recidivism. However, the program hosted experimental studies of various aspects of criminal behavior, noted a report from 1968. The following year, an attendee of a conference about the program noted that a large number of its participants were Black. Skipping ahead a little bit more here, the man who helped make this all happen was a German physician named Ludwig Fink, who became assistant director and subsequently director of the Dannemora Hospital after practicing psychiatry in Iran and India during the 1940s. Just the internationalization, the connections here. I mean, this is some wild. The director of the think tank called the Narcotic and Drug Research Institute described Fink's therapeutic community program in ways that are eerily similar to Cameron's efforts to obliterate human consciousness in order to rebuild it anew. It takes you back to a kind of kindergarten level and then brings you back up, he told Congress, where Fink cites the autobiography of Malcolm X and laments the growing number of aggressive, assertive Black males behind prison walls. The Mohawk Mothers affidavit mentions Ernest G. Poser, a psychologist whose research at McGill investigated the cross-cultural differences in tolerance to physical pain using deceptive means and what seemed like torture instruments. It indicates that Poser studied patients' reactions to hypnotic suggestion during methohextonine-induced sleep, a practice that brings Ponting's experience of being brainwashed to mind. Between September 9 and 13, 1971, nearly 1,300 incarcerated people rebelled in New York's Attica prison. Most of them were Black, but a few, such as John Bonkor Dakajiwia Hill, were Mohawk. New York's partnership with McGill appears to have ended shortly after the uprising and the brutal state-orchestrated massacre that followed it. At roughly the same time, the Dannemora State Hospital was rebranded the Adirondack Correctional Treatment Education Center and became home to a new behavior modification program called the Prescription RX Program. The RX program focused on prisoners guilty of overt acts that incite, agitate, and provoke other inmates to militant, radical, and antisocial activities. Such statements link the program to plantation discourses that pathologize Black resistance while implicating prison authorities in the use of behavior modification techniques for political ends, counterinsurgency. That is, to perform counterinsurgency. While we may never know the full truth, we owe it to those harmed and killed to illuminate their stories. Groups like the Mohawk Mothers have promised to keep digging. So I skipped through some stuff there and quickly read through sort of the structure of that article, I guess the skeleton of that article, but it deserves a deeper and closer read from everyone. And then in addition, or at least I think you should also go listen to the interview he gave to Millennials Are Killing Capitalism, that is Burton. But it just, to me, exemplifies what this whole settler colonial project continues to be about. And so much effort is about propaganda, managing public opinion, shaping consciousness, as he said, they're obliterating consciousness, the construction of identity, the reduction of identity to service and servitude. And at the end of the day, if necessary, everybody's expendable.
Even the kids, by the thousands, thousands of children, kids in unmarked graves. They didn't even have the courtesy, the decency, the humanity to make these children's families aware that they weren't alive anymore. They just buried them on the grounds of the residential school next to the other previous dozen, 100,000 that could have been there beforehand. I mean, there is no recompense for this. You know what I mean? It's reparations in blood. Like, that's it. There's not a check that can be cut that will cover this amount of torture and genocide and suffering over decades, generations, centuries. The whole thing is rotten. I mean, I almost got sick just listening to you recount some of that. And I still will continue to remain in awe of everyone that resists this system. But special shout out to the First Nations people and the indigenous people of this continent, man. They have been resisting since day, and they continue to resist, and they continue to be oppressed and cracked down upon to this day by the so-called liberal Trudeau government in Canada, by the so-called liberal Biden administration in the United States. Like the whole thing has to fall, y'all. It has to fall. Every year that America gets to celebrate another year of existence is a year that I won't say we have failed, but let it be a reminder to us that the work is not finished. Like, America has to go. Canada has to fucking go. You know what I mean? This whole settler colonial experiment, it has to come to a conclusion. It has to end. It has to end because, and not only for our survival and for our salvation, literally for the fucking survival and salvation of the planet. Because when they kill us culturally, when they separate indigenous children from their heritage and from their beliefs, when they separate African children from our heritage and our beliefs, we are the ones connected to the planet. We are the ones who have lived in harmony with the land, with the earth, with the oceans, with the soil, with the air. That's been us. I don't know what the fuck they was doing in Europe. You know what I'm saying? They was plotting on how to extinguish everybody non-white. I don't know what the fuck they was doing in Europe, but everywhere else, everybody seemed to live in harmony with the earth. And now that we have European domination across the planet, ooh, look at that. Everybody environment is fucked up now. So if we don't defeat them for our actual liberation, they must be defeated for the mere existence of life on this planet. Because leave it up to them. Which one of the bruvs told us this on the book launch? One of the bruvs who called up was like, they think they can chop down every tree and still breathe. You can't. Good luck. You're not going to chop down every tree and still be able to breathe. Capitalists.
Yeah. No, that's if first I do want to give Burton a shout out just as demonstrating the kind of academia that often is not credited and welcomed into the mainstream, thereby leaving this idea that all academics are worthless. But this other thing is that if in the interview with Matt Capitalism, if I have this right, if I'm remembering this correctly, he talks about the process he goes into for the research. He talks about the method and the work that he has put in to get documents, and in working almost backwards from starting with prisons and the counterinsurgency against radicalism, against Black radicalism in prisons. He goes, it's like working backwards that he finds all of these other connections to the initial colonization of this continent and the indigenous population. And so there is from, and then seamlessly across borders, as imperialism does. What was done in Canada was done down here, was done down in so-called Central and South America, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, so forth. And this I mean, it is, and is ongoing today. In one form or another. So the work is really impressive. I can't wait till that book comes out. And
how did he get these
to your point?
And where, I'm sorry. Yeah, where did he source them? Are these redacted, declassified CIA documents, or were these other records that Dr. Burton was able to acquire?
So one I got to. So I honestly, I don't remember. I'm going to have to ask that we get Burton on here, or that people go and check out the Matt Capitalism interview where he goes into the detail. But it's freedom of information requests. It's like reading every footnote and tracking down the source in that footnote and contacting. He at one point he got a list of names connected to one of the projects described in that article. And he contacted every one of the names that was still living connected to that project to get more. So, I mean, he's doing the real kind of, as I was saying earlier, like when I'm saying I'm not disciplined, like that's the level of work that I'm not, I'm just not at, that he's doing. So he's getting all these documents. He's going through the documents, and then he's contacting the people in the documents and getting documents from them and going through those documents. And having had a little bit of experience with this, it is beautiful. I know on some level, I don't remember if there is this selfish, I'll say for myself, this beauty in finding these documents associated with a footnote, and then you find the original, and then you see the original in its original form, maybe even in the handwriting of the author, and it's like just makes everything pop out and become more real. So I'm sure. Anyway, but that's what he's doing. And again, the details I don't remember, unfortunately. And I will everybody put the link to the article in the chat now.
That's a doozy.
But exactly. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, there are levels to this. That's real research, not what people do on often on Facebook and social media. And it's why I do always have this respect for this kind of academic work that, again, doesn't often get acknowledged publicly and is understandably, suppressed beneath a whole bunch of other nonsense. But that's real stuff. That's what it really takes. If you really want to become an expert in something, that's the kind of work people have to be willing to do. And it's certainly not being done when it comes to a lot of important issues in our world right now. And so anyway, big shout out to Orasami Burton, and definitely can't wait for the Burton. Yeah, it's a lot in there. Yeah.
If you're able to get Dr. Burton on, I mean, how do you sit with that? Like, how do you as the author and the researcher, like when you have all of this, just it's soul crushing information, you know what I'm saying, that a regular human would be crushed by, you know what I'm saying, not the devils, not the people that don't look at indigenous and black people as people anyway. They just look at that, oh, that was the cost of doing business, we are trying to civilize the land or settle the whatever. But as the researcher, as the producer of this work, like, what does that do to you? You know what I mean? Does that have an effect on you?
Yeah,
These are questions that I have, because I'm crushed by the cursory summation of what you of that piece and of that work, right? Like,
it's a great question.
Fucked up. So how do you maintain when you are the expert at that? You understand? I mean, I'm sorry, that's just sort of
no. I don't remember him being asked that, and he's been here before to talk about his research around Daruba. He's uncovered a lot of stuff around Daruba, which is going to be in this forthcoming book. But I did not ask him that specific question. I think it's a great question. We can. I'll even see if he can come around this week, and that would be. The only thing that I've come close to that, because a couple of times, I mentioned this before, I've been asked for other people to go to the National Archives and look at stuff. So like I've looked at the files, for instance, on Russell Maroon Schultz, and you see the endless amount of data that these people are collecting. Or my favorite was trying to listen to the very bad recordings of the FBI's tapes of Robert and Mabel Williams' Radio Free Dixie broadcasts to the southern United States back, and it's like, damn, it always points me back again. I know it's cliche, but unfortunately, just to that vague, we got to be more organized. They're putting in endless amounts of effort and research and resources to the suppression and the disruption of these efforts, that there just has to be more organization. But I will say a couple years ago, I was trying to put a reporter together with someone I used to know who worked in, who used to work in Baltimore police. And he and a colleague were considering telling their story. He's no longer with the police anymore. They destroyed his career, got him locked up, etc. But he told me just a little bit of what he's experienced and seen done by the police. And I couldn't handle it. I drove home and literally laid out on the floor. Just laid out. It was overwhelming. I was just laid out. Like, it's way worse than TV and film. It's way worse, and the pain in his face and in the face of this other sister that was there, as they're trying to reconcile what they thought they were going to do when they became police officers. And I know what we think about police around here, but at one point they thought, I'm going into this to fix it because I see what they're doing to my people. And then they became part of an unstoppable force that they were like, and it was, and I've never felt, it's hard to, I'm not trying to, look, I'm not, it's, but in that moment, I felt really sorry for them. Like, anyway, it's very difficult. And I was just laid out. I couldn't take it. So I don't know how others deal with what I know they know, and they learn more than I'll ever, But in that moment, I needed a break. I was like, those stories are just horrific on top of horrific. And again, TV and film don't come close to how bad it really is out here. So almost, and I'll stop here because I see Ear Doctor's ready to give us our reward, but it reminded me of what I thought Fanon must have been going through when he was doing his studies of the French soldiers colonizing Algeria and the trauma he recognized they were going through. So it's not to justify or to accept it, but to say, I understand that the police officer that is doing the harm in our communities that they're doing is a traumatized, destroyed entity itself. So I'm not saying to forgive or justify, but we're dealing with it's a lot. Anyway, so to heal us up a little bit as we wrap up this
Oh, shit, we about to get a long mix because
I don't know. He showed up, so I don't know.
Nah, I was just jotting
ahead.
some notes down in Ear Doctor Ponders, and I was just thinking about the what you brought forth, Cam, as in why Urugus do what they do. I mean, the Europeans, I mean, the world and the earth was against them. They didn't have no sun. They couldn't go out and pick mangoes right off the trees. It was cold. It was freezing. I mean, they had to go hunt for food. They're mad. Hurt people hurt people. So
they took it out on the rest of us. They took it out on the rest of us.
Yes, hurt people hurt people. If you go into I can't even. It's freezing. I go over here to this land and they picking mangoes off of trees. It's hot. It's nice. Everybody looks beautiful and tanned. And look at me. So I'm mad at everybody, and I'm gonna take it out on all y'all because hurt people hurt people. Ear Doctor Ponders book coming out soon.
I'm with it. Ear Doctor, all of that made sense. I could yes, I'm with you. Yes.
Hey,
that's Diop's 2 cradle theories, summarized without the footnotes. But I mean, I'll say that first time, the only time that I stepped foot off the beach in Cuba and saw that water, I've never seen water like that. You see all the way to the bottom, that blue, that beautiful with this. I could see, you show up there, you crash up over there from Europe, you be like, I ain't never going back.
Ever.
Never. And why they get to live like this? Why did God bless them? Why God give them all this and they ain't give me nothing?
Yeah. But all they had to do was say, can we just chill with you instead of destroy you? But they can't do that. They can't do it.
They don't know how to live, to coexist. And therein lies the problem. This is why if I had a time machine, Jesus bless me with a time machine. I'm going back in time 500, 600 years. And I don't know the language. I don't even know what language the folks them was over here speaking about. Listen. When you see them ships with them big sails with the cross on it, you have to chop the head off, yappa the head. Like every single one that get off the boat, you have to cut their heads off, y'all. I know you may not understand it now.
You don't. I know y'all peaceful people. We get it.
Now I'm taking that 50 cal. I'm taking that 50 cal and a whole bunch of ammo in that time machine with me, and I'm just gonna set it right up on the beach. Be like, come on out here, come on.
I'm gonna show up during the Nicene conference and be like, I don't think y'all should do that. I'm like, I don't think y'all should use this book in that way. Y'all really doing a lot of y'all wrong. But
no, Ear Doctor Ponders, when is it coming out? I need that pre-order link because I'm telling you, Ear Doctor, I know you are an insightful, deep dude. You know what I'm saying? With good delivery. So I'm with all your insights and ponderings.
Auto book mixtape also is coming all together. So you're gonna enjoy this one.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I guess we got 5 minutes left. Hey, for all those people that didn't tune in to Sundays, check it out. We had, as we see in the chat room, we had Piper Carter.
Man, that was dope.
And we talked about hip hop.
Dope.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was great to talk to. It's hard to talk to too many sisters. Like I could see Kim and Piper Really sitting down having a great conversation on
That
hip
would
hop.
be a good show.
Because
Ooh.
man,
Because your show
I mean,
with
With it.
Kim was dope too. I like when you do these, I like that. And
The interviews.
the joint with Piper was very nice.
yeah, I always
Yeah.
say let's have a conversation. I'm not too big on interviews. I don't.
Oh,
really
I'm
care.
sorry, your conversations.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, because I don't really care too much about people like that.
Well, there's
But,
some people that have not yet done that. I mean, right? Like Kamau needs to, Jacqueline,
Yeah,
Angie, like
we gonna get there.
okay.
If we can afford it, you got to get Diallo there too. I don't know if we.
Oh,
if
yeah.
I don't think BPM.
I talked to him. We gonna get Diallo on there. We gonna get
Okay.
Diallo on there. So
He's expensive. This is a lot of money to keep Diallo in these.
I pay him.
YouTube streets.
Hey, I pay him attention. That's about it. All right. With that said, we gonna come back tomorrow with some more Remix Morning Show. But let's go and end y'all with this
Real
mix.
quick, can I say something real quick?
What up?
Burn It Down with Kim Brown back tonight, y'all. 7 p.m. And this is my Fire Fam in the building. We've been on break for the whole month of June. It's July, baby. It's my birthday month. So let's get cracking.
Let's
Right
go.
now. Never stop.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah, sitting in the staircase, holding back tears, looking over mad years worth of photographs, pictures of some places I ain't never going back. Some people I used to love.
Since we talk about righteous rap, let me take y'all to a place called Trenton. Rocks and Poor Rights Teachers. There's so many teachers, but not enough students. Let's get it.
So many teachers, yet so little men are being seen. Everybody's ruling, yet nobody's being king.
Word is like G.
But culture free, how could this be? Our people need some leaders and some positivity.
Like Farrakhan G.
Or like that brother Malcolm X, who turned the hands of time when giving knowledge of himself. It's sort of simple, see? The father shot bombs, the technique's weak. Nobody in my posse.
I am the magnificent.
R.I.P. B.I.Z.
And the magnificent. What want you? Don't want you. I'm back for the shack of a soul boss. Most touring, sound soul.
Let's go. Come on now. We going off right here, right now. This is no other than the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and I came here with the flow. And this is how it's gonna go. Alright? Let's get it. Stay live. Dave, R.I.P.
on the attack, survival jack, pot and a lot of it's fact, part of the pack. Not sounding blood, but it's back by the vernac. And we ain't backpack, we backbone, but that's how rap be. My own kids can't see they pops, cause I'm on stage in some city making someone else kids happy. Doing things that ain't over till the big ladies sing. But since the world is so health conscious, the big gal or wait.
Let's think, she I go to the extreme, so proceed me with caution. That job bag you left me last night, I burned this morning. So what up, knocker? What be left?
Knocker, Ear Doctor, we out of here, y'all.
Better than that blunt you pass. It's getting deep, I'm going farther, but I peeped your perfect ganja, 3 L's left you trying. And what? Be up with that, ooh, I sparked that tree. I hope you ain't a knocker that's gonna fold on me, B.